Hello, welcome back to Balance Your Books podcast. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Kina.
How are you?
I'm great.
Wonderful. As we're recording this is a Monday, so happy Monday. And what do we always want to remind people before we get into an amazing podcast today? What is our housekeeping?
Housekeeping. Okay, so this is what we want you to do. We want you to like the podcast. We want you to subscribe to the podcast. And if you really like it, share it with your friends, your small business owners, your entrepreneurs, anyone that you think can benefit from this information. We love comments. We love emails at balanceyourbookspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to be a guest, there is a guest form that you can fill out at our website. Now, Kina, do you want to give the people all our website information?
Sure. So, balanceyourbookspodcast.com is our website for our podcast. We also, for our firm, Your Balanced Partners, we have our website, yourbalancedpartners.com. And that's where you can find out information about our firm and get in contact with us if you want us to provide you finance and accounting support. We also have another program that we are starting, and we're actually going to expand it. So be on the lookout for a lot more information. It is our Cash Flow Confidence program, and that is at cashflowconfidence.net. So there will be a lot more information about that to really support small business growth. And so, as a part of that, we have decided to start to expand our podcast and start to invite experts, subject matter experts, SMEs, in different areas that we have been connected with. And we think that it's really important to give small business owners as much information as possible as you're growing. And one of the big topics, especially here in the United States of America, healthcare. And
Yeah.
how do you manage healthcare? How do you manage the cost around healthcare? And what are some tips that you can do to help manage that cost? So we have brought Jacob today. Hi, Jacob.
Hey Keena, hey Kimberly, how are you doing?
Good,
Great,
good.
great.
So Jacob is going to share some information with everyone around healthcare costs. But first, let's have Jacob introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Guidi, um, doctorate of musical arts. So got started in something completely unrelated to where I wound up. I have been in the health and life insurance space for the past 5 years. Atlanta native, born and raised. Um, a lot of our groups that we assist are nonprofits assisting assisted living facilities from here all the way out to New Mexico. So that's a bit about who I am. A proud father of a almost 4-year-old daughter now. So yeah, happy to get
Happy
into it.
Father's Day. It was yesterday as of this
Yes,
recording,
that's
but
right.
yes,
Happy
happy
Father's
Father's
Thank you.
Day.
Day. Did they take care of you yesterday?
They did. They left me alone. So I asked them. I was making a list for Alexis. I said, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. So
No, the shock is because usually that's what mothers ask
Mother's
for.
Day. Right.
And usually fathers are like, for Father's Day, I just want to spend time with the kids and I just want to,
yeah,
at least in our age group. But
Right.
sure.
yeah,
I was going to say, Jacob's, these are more involved dads now. And
I saw that on the news this morning. The younger dads are more involved. So yeah, you can say, leave me alone on Father's Day. And I'm glad you got what you wanted.
We still watched some movies and did some ice cream, but it
Mhm.
was. I like that you came at it from that perspective of just different generational patterns, and so I think yeah,
Mhm.
I know I'm very involved. I get to work from home. Alexis doesn't, so and then school being out of session is a lot of fun. So
oh,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Awesome.
Can we get viral for your daughter coming in, going across
Yeah.
the screen
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Come
yeah,
in the
we
room
could.
like, "Ooh."
like we've seen before?
I can have her put on her baby shark hat. It'll be great.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. So what we want to talk about, of course, as we mentioned, was talking about healthcare costs.
Mm,
And let's just level set. And what we like to do on Balance Your Books podcast is really speak plainly
mm,
for our small business owners. We try not to get a whole lot of jargon so that we can make sure that they are getting the information that they need. And
mm.
so let's talk about what health insurance looks like in general for small business. So typically, when a small business is ready to buy or thinking that they want to provide that benefit to employees, right? First, you get employees, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, well, Jacob, I guess, is it like a recommendation from your perspective? One, when it's a solopreneur or when it's two people, three people, what do you see typically as a good time for them to start talking about that being a benefit that they should consider?
I think when you start getting out beyond, five full-time employees, definitely if you're a solopreneur, there's just so much stuff that you can do on the marketplace. And even when I say marketplace, your state registry, the affordable healthcare plans, you can do that really easily. But as you start building something more substantial and like the people you're working with, and having something competitive or that makes sense for them is a big retention driver. So we've worked with groups as small as like 3 employees that have health insurance, but there are other things you can do with benefits that are meaningful outside of the health insurance, because people always can have coverage through their partner, right? Maybe their partner works for the school system, or they have a
Right.
government job and they have great benefits. And so, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to have your, small employer's healthcare coverage if your partner has amazing insurance. So it's on a case by case basis. But I think, over 5, 10, that's when you should look at it. Above 50 is when you're legally required to have some kind of healthcare in place. So,
Okay, so that's a good point. So maybe around 5 to 10 employees, depending on what those employee situation is.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And then you said once you get to 50 employees, you're required to
yeah,
provide some type of health care, correct?
yeah. Beyond 50, ACA guidelines mean you have to have something that covers minimal essential coverage. This is basically like a catastrophic plan, and you have to have it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Good
And
stuff.
so from the so to that and that 5 to 10
Mm,
employees, the main driver for providing health care you mentioned is retention, right? That you've got these employees, they are working hard from you. From our perspective, you need to make sure your business is profitable to be able to
Mm-hmm.
afford health care as well. And so now this is a way that you can retain that talent that you want to keep within your organization.
exactly, exactly. And I think that's where the other part comes in. Maybe you can offer benefits, but health insurance might not be that might drive down your profitability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, those other areas. But exactly right, Kina. If it makes sense, if you're still profitable and you can do it, you want to keep them around so you can keep being profitable and keep the ship going.
Yep.
That's right. And so when the small business has good profit, they've decided, yep, we know we like our employees, want to provide this benefit. The
Mm.
next step is they start shopping plans, correct?
Right.
And what do you recommend? How should they go about that process to start looking for plans and things like that? What are some things they should consider?
You're gonna, you'll probably get caught up with analysis paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff out there that you can read, and it will lead to more confusion. And that's okay. I think take it one step at a time. If maybe my best advice, if you're planning on providing health insurance for the first time and you want, like, today's July, or we're almost in July, it's June 22nd. If you want to have coverage effective by August 1st, and this is your first time thinking or looking at it, maybe don't be set on an August 1st effective date. Maybe give yourself like 6 months of like learning and processing, because you'll be caught in a situation where brokers like myself can help with this, or maybe you're like, oh well, I read somewhere that I need a PEO, and you end up getting a bunch of stuff that your business might not necessarily need in the moment, and you end up overpaying because you were hell bent on, I need this now by this date. And so if it's your first time, you know nothing about it, give yourself plenty of time. Talk to different people, take good notes because there's a lot, but analysis paralysis is normal. Give yourself a lot of time to digest the information and to make the best decision for you moving forward. So that's, I guess, kind of general and boilerplate. Give yourself plenty of time. Um, I can keep going from there, but I think
I
that's,
have a question.
yeah.
What is a PEO?
The
Or what
PE,
does it stand for?
professional, professional employment organization.
Okay.
Um, that is essentially, they do a lot of services. They'll manage your HR, basically your employee life cycle, from hiring,
Hmm.
onboarding, terminations, um, all that stuff they manage for you. But they also are a co-employer along with you. Some people that have PEOs don't realize that the PEO is also, when I say like owner of your business, you might be the owner, but the PEO has a like legal authority in your business until
They
that
have some sort
contract.
of agency where they can make decisions for your business.
Yeah.
And if you get caught up making a hasty decision of getting a PEO and you really don't know who you're working with, then you have someone that's making decisions for your organization, that you might not know
Yeah.
well enough to make certain decisions for your organization. So I just wanted to get that out there,
Yeah.
PEO, and we'll talk about those sort of organizations and HR things at a later podcast. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
So
Great question.
we've done our research and we've taken the time. We're not making any hasty decisions,
Mm.
and we've decided on a plan,
Okay.
right?
Right.
The one thing when we talked before, you were stressing to us is the best way to save money,
Sure.
or what? How do we want to put it? Taxes,
To
save it.
avoid tax avoidance.
I wouldn't say tax avoidance, tax strategy.
I like it. Someone brought up laundering the other day. I was on a call. I'm like, I guess, it works. So this is
Tax
legal.
strategy. The
This
best
is
tax strategy for this.
this is legal tax avoidance, everyone. This
Yes,
is tax
legal.
strategy
Legal.
that
Yes.
it is coded into the Internal Revenue Code. So it's basically their rules. You get to play by them. And so, this is outside of the actual analysis paralysis, the confusion of this plan, that plan, PPO, HMO, what should we do? And so, you've decided on a plan. What every company needs to do is understand the difference between pre-taxing their health insurance, allowing employees to contribute pre-tax, or allowing them to do it post-tax. This would just be assuming that, say, you're not paying for all of it for your employees, because as the employer, you have the choice to, match or just let the employees pay for it. But you always, whatever you do, want to have employees pre-tax their health insurance. That is the smartest tax strategy that you can implement, regardless of the plan that's going to help you save money.
Okay, and so let's pause and make sure we clarify that for people. So, when they've selected a plan, that
Hmm.
plan will tell them how much each employee should be charged for their health care. This is
Yeah.
after the employee has decided to opt in. So when you are a small business, you say, "Hey, here's the health insurance plan I've selected. I think this will be a good benefit for you. Let's use it in our scenario. We're going to pay for 50% of the healthcare plan for you if you decide to opt in." The employee then receives a copy of that plan. They can look at all the different benefits that are a part of it. It may be things like they may have included dental and vision, or maybe, it's because it's got your doctors in it because they've
Mm-hmm.
picked, a plan that has your doctors in it. Maybe that's important to you, or it has virtual care or urgent care. So there may be different things that are available in that plan that are important to you.
Yeah.
So then you decide as employee to opt in. Now, on the employer side, when they are setting up the payment process, they
Mm.
are determining this is where I want to take out the cost of that, the 50% that is coming out of that employee's check to pay for
Mm-hmm.
their half. They're
Yeah.
taking that out before the rest of their taxes are calculated.
Yeah. Exactly.
Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
You, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, Jacob.
I was gonna say, if you have John Doe with 4,000 in gross wages, right? Um, if you pay taxes on your total taxable wages. That doesn't necessarily mean your gross. And so
Mm-hmm.
what'll happen is if John, say, pays 10% on $4,000, so just call that all of his taxes, then he pays, $400 in taxes, and then is responsible for whatever that health insurance premium is after tax. If you as
Mm-hmm.
the employer say, hey, I mean, you're just going to pre-tax it. That's just how it's set up. Anyone with health insurance does it. Let's say that health insurance premium was $500, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so if he pre-taxes it, now instead of paying 10% on 4,000, he only pays 10% on the 3,500. So right there,
Mm-hmm.
he just every month there's $50 in tax savings just by doing that one little shift alone. And so over a
Mm-hmm.
year, $600 in just employee facing tax savings in this really basic example. So it's just, where in the formula are you paying taxes on the thing? And so pre-taxing is before your total taxes are taken out, get all the deductions you can so
Right.
that you as the employee pay less in taxes, and for the employer you have to match those taxes. So if they have less, you match less. That's the basic concept.
And
So
and
why
it's
would anybody
interesting.
ever pick post-tax?
You don't know. You don't know any better. So like fun story, not really, it's boring, but for me, 1978, the IRS, they codified the Section 125 cafeteria plan. This is the thing that allows you to pre-tax certain benefits. Just like a lot of things that happen on a legislative level, no one quite understands what this means or the downstream effects for a while, and so people were scratching their heads for a while. What do we do with this? So it wasn't until 10 years later until they made some clarifications on it. And then even after that, it was about another 20 years until it became commonplace for um, mid to large size employers to do it. So, the law, 1978, you can do this. It's not until the 2000s until people start
Mm-hmm.
really understanding the strategy. And so I think it's just a little bit of
Hmm.
education that people miss or nobody told them about. Um, and they're doing just fine without it, but it's useful to have.
So, because I think about when, we worked in corporate America, it
Mm,
was automatically pre-tax. But of
Right.
course, we worked for large companies who had PEOs or eight, well, not PEOs.
And tax
So
department.
they had tax departments that were thinking of tax strategy all the time. They had HR groups who knew all the rules. And
Yep.
so it never occurred to me that when, as a small business, when you're selecting your health insurance plan for your employees, first of all, you need to know if you have a Section 125 cafeteria plan, right?
right. Correct.
See, I'm learning. You need to know if you have one. And then if you do, you need to make sure you flip the switch or whatever, but select that you want this coming out of their paycheck pre-tax. You have to make that election in order to for it to work, right?
Right. Yeah. You need to have you need to have a boilerplate 125 document. An arrest attorney can do that for you, or you can find one online, have it plugged in with your company specifics, but it does need to be set up. It's not something like you just wave your wand inside like a payroll system and say, alakazam, and it happens. But that's really all you need. Once it's set up, then the money's just going to flow like that. And to your point, when these companies have a whole floor of tax attorneys, you don't think about it, right? It just happens second
Right.
nature. So for as a small employer, awareness is really key.
So, point of clarification.
Hmm.
If you have a Section 125 cafeteria plan, is it automatically pre-tax or do you have to designate it as pre-tax?
With the 125, this is where I'm not an ERISA attorney, but from all my experience, if your health insurance is included into that, it should be de facto. Like
Okay.
it's going to be pre-taxed. I could imagine some situations where maybe an employee doesn't want to, but I really can't think of any good reasons why they wouldn't. That would just that you would just want those to happen pre-tax.
Right.
Any eligible benefits, you should want those to be pre-tax.
Yep.
Right,
Okay.
because it's this, so because this is just like the 401k benefit,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Right. So all of that is pre-tax.
Hmm.
I mean, the 401k gets capped in a year
Right.
on how much you
Right.
can give. But yeah, it's it's similar that you want to look at those things that reduce your taxable income any way you can, really.
Right.
So that's always a benefit. And so you as a broker, Jacob, can you kind of talk through what you help people do? Like what do you help with, either if it's a small business or a nonprofit? What do you
Yeah.
help them do in terms of setting this up?
Yeah. I like what you said there, and you want to maximize your tax deductions, right? You're a solopreneur. At the end of the year, you pay for all this stuff. You're like, I didn't deduct like $10,000 or 20,000. I could have. And that's what we do. We help employers maximize their deductions. We're primarily focused on like tax strategy. So I mean, health insurance aside, there are plenty of other things that we do to help reduce the employer's FICA liability. FICA, used a big word. That's just the portion of those taxes that you have to match. And so that's what we do as a broker, whether small or big company. We say, okay, these are some solutions you could look at implementing alongside your healthcare that are going to help you, meaningfully reduce your tax liability and help give back to your employees. So we're really indifferent. We don't have these very strict contracts like maybe a PEO does, or we're not baking in crazy compensation on our end. We're just kind of financial advisors trying to help you make the best decision wherever you're at.
And what makes that key is when you say you're kind of independent, like you aren't compensated by pushing one healthcare plan over another or one company over another. You
Right.
just help analyze and provide advice
Yeah.
when a business is looking into this.
Yeah. Correct.
And how does that business pay for your services?
How does that business pay? So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so
How
when the
do you
business
get
hires
paid?
you,
Because
how
I
do
know
you
you don't
get
do this for
compensated?
free. So,
Right. It's not out
yeah.
of you got a
not,
4-year-old. It's not out of the
yeah,
kindness
yeah,
of your heart.
yes,
Still
yes.
4 years. Yeah, so in any of the service that there is built-in commission for a broker, right? So whether that's health insurance, supplemental policies, it looks different on each of them. And then there is typically a broker will have like a per employee per month fee, whether
Okay.
that's like $20. Where you see brokers kind of getting out of hand are where that per employee per month, gets to be $50, $100. Because with health insurance, what the ACA did, many people know this, but if I could sell someone an individual marketplace plan, even if it's $400, $500, I might only get $20 from that, per month. And that is a protection that they have. What brokers can do when you go through big like USI's, Gallagher's, they can build in additional fees and they can consolidate those line items you don't know any different. You as the employer just get hit with it. So we just try to be transparent with that. You know, we rely a lot on supplementals, so the life insurance, the short-term disabilities, um, those are like 100% commission based, no like per employee per month fee. So we do a good mix of everything in between.
So to make sure I
So,
understand that, oh, we're about to ask the same question, I bet.
no,
Go
I
ahead,
was
Kimberly.
gonna, the bit of advice for employers is make sure you know what is included in those fees that you're charged from a broker. And if
Sure.
it's just one line, don't be afraid to ask the broker to break it down. Like if you're being charged, let's say 25% or something, I don't know. If you're
Mm-hmm.
being charged $50 per employee, what is this for? And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, that some brokers may bake different things in there. And so, we are always being cost conscious. So if you get charged fees, know exactly what those fees relate to. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say. But
Well,
Keena, you
where
had a
is it
question.
sitting though? Well, I was wondering, is it so because when the bill comes across, doesn't the bill come across from the health insurance provider? Like the broker doesn't send a separate bill, correct?
Yeah, no, that so it depends on all how it's set up. You know, when you are a broker, you can have a TPA or a third party administration, which can consolidate bills. You can have it remit through payroll. You might need to remit to the, USI out there, whoever that company is. On individual plans, depending on how it's set up, it could come directly from the carrier. It really just depends on how it's baked into payroll and how it's been set up the whole time. But to the point of say it does come directly from the health insurance carrier, by entering into the agreement with the broker, the BOR, broker of record, you could also just have a contractual obligation to paying them a fee that the employee just never sees, for every employee that does have that Blue Cross Blue Shield line item. And so it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Right. So that's why I was wondering, like, so because when the employer um, gets the bill, you said USI. Did you say USI?
Yeah, USI, it's just a big, like Marsh McLennan, if we were to talk about like fast food restaurants or like a McDonald's or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are just really big brokers. Is that who you're?
Yeah, big broker
Okay.
national conglomerates. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And so so because like they hire you and your company,
Mm,
you go out, help them identify the proper plans. It could be a combination of health insurance, life insurance, the full
mm,
suite
mm,
of benefits, and
mm.
then that you help assist, I guess, negotiating it with that particular provider or
Yeah.
insurance carrier,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And then when they've signed on the line and said, "Yep, we're going to sign up for this either health insurance, life insurance," you're saying that the bill for your services is either going to be part of the bill that they receive from that health insurance, or it could be a separate bill from your company.
It depends on, I'm not speaking for us
Yeah,
specifically,
yeah,
but
just in
yes, for
general.
Mhm.
any broker, it could be, what needs to be remitted to the carrier is separate versus an additional bill that they will receive from the broker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for the broker's like role in middlemanning the whole operation, which,
Yep,
people need to be compensated, and especially if you have a good
Yep.
professional working with you, but that's
yep,
where just understanding where those things get built in and maybe
right,
what you don't realize is hurting you comes in.
right,
Yep.
right.
Good
And
stuff.
so it's important, I think, for a small business owner to understand how the sausage is made and how,
Mhm.
everybody, whether it's from your side providing services, our side from the finance providing services, they know how we're being compensated, how we're providing those services to you, what's the benefit of getting those services. So I wanted to just be clear for
Mm,
people that make sure you understand that this is someone who's helped you be able to negotiate
Mhm.
it, and then how you're making sure that they're compensated appropriately.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Awesome.
And then I think the other piece that I want to make sure, I think we hit the main things.
Yeah, I
So if
think
we
Mm.
we.
go back, or is there any part that we missed, Jacob, that you wanted to point out?
I mean, I think this really covers it. The first episode or this episode is just about regardless of the plan you choose, what's the best way to implement it? And,
Mhm.
Yep.
this can be thousands of dollars that you save, that in to your downline, your FICA liability that you reduce just by having this one option. And
Yep.
so, it's not like it discriminates or changes based on like different people. It's just math. It's a formula. And so the more employees you have, the more that you are forking over, without doing this. Wherever you go, this is just pre-taxing your eligible benefits is a good thing to do and something you should definitely be aware of.
Yes.
Well,
And it's
thank you.
just math.
It's just math. It's
We
just
love
math.
math because
We
what do
love
they
math.
say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jacob, for your time. This is really, really good information
Very good
for small
information.
business owners. We appreciate your time today. We're going to do a really quick shooting the topic today, and so when we're recording this, this is June in Atlanta, and it is FIFA. It is FIFA time, 2026, and
Hmm.
uh, I've actually enjoyed it. I got to go to a match on
Mm,
Thursday. It was South Africa and Czechia.
mm,
So one thing, at least, if there, I think the couple benefits is you start to learn what all the flags are of
Hmm.
all the different nations around the world. You can test yourself on the flags, but it was fun. It was interesting. I definitely don't know all the rules. As been pointed out, if you look at different blogs and social media and all of that, they love to point out that a lot of Americans do not understand soccer or football, the real
Football.
football in their perspective.
Right.
Right, foot with a U,
Football.
football in the United States. That we are we're very green in it.
Yes.
And so it's funny to we went when I went to the match. Uh, Something happened. Everyone was screaming, going crazy, and me and my friend were sitting there like, "What happened? What happened?" And it turned out it was like a big deal that South Africa was getting a free kick because the ball had hit the Czechia player's hand, and that's against the rules, and so you get a free kick. And we're like, oh, once you explain it, then we started cheering too. But it
Yeah.
was so
A little
fun.
delayed.
Yeah, it was very delayed, but it was hilarious. So anybody who's listening who follows football / soccer are probably like, look at these idiots. At least they know numbers. But it was funny because that's the first time I've been in a sporting event because I'm a big sports junkie. That I really was like, now I know how some people feel when they're watching American football or basketball or something and don't normally watch sports. And it's like,
mm.
what's everybody going crazy for? That was my first experience, I think, where I really was like, oh, this is how people feel when they're clueless.
That wasn't your first experience because Jacob, I don't know if you've been podcast land. Jacob is in Metro Atlanta. He says he's born and raised, but we've been to our first. Remember our first Atlanta United game? We went to our first Atlanta United game. I don't know if you've been to one, Jacob, but I remember being Falcons season ticket holders. We go to Falcons games, and the first thing that shocked us was they stood the entire game.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
sitting there. We came to our seats and we sat down and we looked. So we stood up. And then this is early in the Atlanta United
When they were really
time
good.
here. Yeah, they were really good. And the fans stood the entire time. And after that, I went another time that season, but I was in the club section because I said I'm not going to be down there standing the entire. No, I went twice. I went another time, but one time I went and I moved to the club section, not club section. This I don't want to make it seem like I'm just all that. I moved to the
Bougie?
second level.
V-
I moved to
VIP
the
presidential
immersion
suite.
level.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like her and Arthur Blank.
Yes, 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 yes. Move to the second level. But even if you're not a fan of soccer, football, or you're still learning the rules, having the World Cup here has been just so much fun because there's so many activities going on around the city. We have our FIFA Fan Fest. Not just that, but even in the metro Atlanta areas, they're having watch parties. So I hope that, I know they're doing it in other cities, but it's really been so much fun.
It makes me hopeful. You point out, Kena, that you're watching it and you don't understand the excitement. I brought this up to you guys earlier. Watching people from different countries come here and experience our culture for the
Yes.
first time, they're like, "Oh, I kind of get it now. These Americans are kind of cool." We're not.
Hmm.
It's hopeful. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
come together.
Yes.
We can unite. We can exchange cultures, and so
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun to watch this happen.
And I've
You're
loved
right.
how everything I've seen is people saying how welcoming
Hmm.
Americans have been and how they've learned things like you said, exchange cultures, and I saw one social media post where they experienced Waffle House for the first time.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I can get with this Waffle House. So it's been so much fun watching it, whether it be on the internet, whether it be the installations that we've had in Metro Atlanta, the new restaurants that have opened up downtown. All of it's been wonderful. So yes, thank you, FIFA World Cup. We're going to continue to enjoy this for about a
We
couple
got
more
like
weeks.
3 more weeks or
Yeah.
something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So hopefully you
awesome.
can get your daughter down to Fan Fest.
Yes,
Yeah. I will try. I will try.
Yes, it looks pretty nice down there. So she can get
yeah.
her face painted.
Yeah,
You can
they
do
do a
all kind
lot
of
of
things like
things for the
that.
kids. Just make sure it's not on a day where there's a match here.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good. I'm always looking for summer activities. Like I said,
Yes.
school's out
That's
right
a
now,
that's
so
a
I'm
good
trying
one.
to.
Yeah, that's
And
a
they
good
have
one.
like water stuff in there, all kinds of interactive things for little kids. So
Is it
she
Centennial
has a great
Olympic
time.
Park?
Yes, it's
Yes.
Centennial Olympic Park. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Cool.
Yes. Yes.
I'll
So
dude. I'll go check it out. Thank you so much.
you're
Great. Well,
welcome.
thank you, Jacob. This has been very enlightening, good information, and we
Absolutely.
appreciate your expertise
Hmm.
Absolutely.
in this
Absolutely.
subject.
Thank you
Thank you.
guys for having me. I really appreciate being on.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening or watching Balance Your Books podcast, and we will see you next time. Have a wonderful day and grow your business.